Hello everyone, this is Lair with Blue Television Games, and welcome to Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD on the PC. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and today I'm going to be giving you kind of a one-off, quick look at this game. We may continue this series, but we also may not. I really just had the itch to play it, and I want to show you why. Beginning with this sweet, sweet first cutscene. This is one of my favorite cinematics in any game of all time, and this whole game is just very cinematic, very fun to watch. All of the characters have a ton of personality. The world has a lot of personality. Not to mention that the main character, Stranger, who we're seeing here, is just totally awesome. He's one of the coolest main characters in any game I've ever played. I'm going to be quiet now while we check out the rest of this awesome cutscene.
You jerk! You broke my favorite rifle! Never liked guns. Oh man, why'd you have to do that? No, look, you don't need to do that!
And there we have it, one of my favorite opening cutscenes in any game ever. So, Stranger is a bounty hunter, so the goal of the game is to find these outlaws and take them back to town and collect the bounty. This game has a ton of charm, and it's just super unique. I mean, there's nothing else I've ever played that's like this. So with our first outlaw bundled up and ready to take in and turn in for the bounty, we're heading back to town. Like that hint says, if you bounty an enemy alive, you get more moolah for them. Moolah being the game's currency. You've got a double jump that helps you get across big gaps like that. The platforming in this is so good, like it just controls extremely well. Even now, after having some trouble with my Xbox controller, I decided to switch over to my mouse and keyboard, and it just works so well. This game originally released on the regular Xbox years and years ago. I don't know what the exact release date was for that, but I'm sure I'll put it down in the description. But it was one of my favorite games as a kid. And even revisiting it now, I just can't believe how well it's held up. That jerk just knifed me in the back and ran off. So you can, let me see. Yeah, you can shake off. One of these buttons will allow you to shake. So the green bar in the top right is our health, and the blue bar underneath of it is the stamina bar. And if we don't have any stamina, we can't recover our health. But since we have stamina, we can just shake and we get all of our health back, which is really, really neat. All right. So right now, this is just one version of the gameplay, and you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. But right now we have melee attacks, and we're in third person, and that's about to change, I think. Yeah, there we go. So now we're in first person, and the game doesn't change between these two viewpoints for you. You actually get to change on the fly. Anytime you want, you can change between third person for platforming or first person for shootouts. And it's incredibly cool. And again, I think this game does it better than almost any other game.
Clown onto that wooden platform.
Another cool thing here is that all of our ammunition are actually these cute little animals. So this is a chipmunk, and you'll see here, a chipmunk will attract enemies to wherever you throw it. So each one of the different animals that you can get to use as ammunition have different properties in the way that they interact with enemies.
Hey, whoever grabs the bounty hunter wins a prize. And the prize is, I won't beat the piss
So
out
see,
of
this
him.
one here is dead because we dropped him really far. But we can still bounty him, and we'll still get a little bit of money for it. We just get a little bit less since he's dead. So every single enemy that you attack in this game can be gathered and turned in for a bounty. So even all the like trash enemies, just the random ones that you fight, can be turned in for bounty. But the big boss enemies give you more money when you turn them in. All right, so let's head up this elevator. We'll go into first person just in case there's something waiting for us at the top. Playing this on PC is probably my favorite way to play, too. The game is really customizable, and there's just a lot to it that you can kind of personalize in your own way. And again, for a platforming game like this, to have such fantastic mouse and keyboard controls is really kind of spectacular. So we got two enemies down there. We'll throw a chipmunk down. And jump down there and take him out. We can bounty him while his friend is freaking out. Oh, didn't quite get him.
Bounty this guy.
So when they're down on the ground, the number of stars tell you how long they're going to be incapacitated. So that guy has 2 stars. There's 3 stars, so he'll stay down for a little while. And while he's down, we can bounty him. We can't bounty him when he's just standing up. We can also kill him and then bounty him if we, just absolutely have to, but the goal is always to bounty alive rather than dead. Now we have another animal. This is the Bolamite, and it says it immobilizes its target with a web. We saw the Bolamite a little bit in that opening cinematic when the guy got wrapped up in web as he was flying through the air, and now we get to see it in action. So that screen was telling us about the game's stealth mechanics. If you're standing in tall grass, then you're basically hidden, as you can see down there in the bottom left next to the radar, and enemies can't see you. We'll go ahead and tie him up. The Bolamite web just lasts a little while, but it lasts longer than just knocking them out. So it's a good way to quickly get down and grab some enemies. Like if you can Bolamite up 5 or 10 different enemies, you can probably get to every one of them and bounty all of them before the time they start breaking out of it. I love how the chipmunks talk to you and stuff. There's just so much character in all of the Oddworld games, but in Stranger's Wrath most of all, I think. Using the chipmunk, lure these outlaws away one at a time to this spot, and then use the Bolamite to tie them up.
Don't you think I know that?
So
Keep a lookout.
we can just do that.
I hate these things.
So the guy right there on the outside felt that or smelled it, and he ran over here and got tied up. He didn't smell it. That's some misinformation. The chipmunks, their whole thing is like they taunt the enemies. They call them like stupid face or whatever, and they make the enemies mad. And that's why the enemies all come running toward them, is because they're being taunted. Which, again, just adds to the character of this game and how alive the whole world feels. This is a really old game. Now we have Stunks, this little skunk dude, and he can be used to immobilize multiple enemies. So no surprise here, but this stunk is going to smell really, really bad and make a whole bunch of enemies pretty sick. So these guys are a perfect target. Let's just toss a stunk over there, and then we can go grab them while they're puking, and we can bounty them up just like this. Boop, boop. I forgot all about that. While you're in first person, you can still punch like that. But this game just flows incredibly well. We'll see here in a little bit, once we get out into the open, we'll have some more movement and kind of platforming options open up to us as well. The fuzzle can be used two ways, either as a trap or fired directly on enemies. Think of them as living mines with teeth. So as you can see, the fuzzle there on the right looks pretty mean. And he's basically like a fuzzy little piranha, and we're going to use him right here.
Hey, jackass! You can't swim either.
We can just do that, that, and that. And fuzzles will actually jump from whatever surface you put them on onto enemies, so you can set up traps. I think we're actually about to set up a trap right here. Yep. An outlaw will be coming through this door in 10 seconds. Place fuzzles around the doorway to set a trap. So later on in the game, you're actually able to set up a lot of preemptive strikes before enemies even show up. If you hear them coming, you can get ready for it. All right, now we'll get ready. Whoops. I guess I can only get out over here. See, those fuzzles are keeping them busy for us. They almost killed him. Come on. There we go. We knocked him out. Alright, since we're indoors, I'm going to go into first person so we can see a little bit better what's going on around us.
Oh, and whoever borrowed my back hair trimmer, give it back before I tear off their face.
These outlaws are a pretty mean bunch. I love listening to all the dialogue back and forth between them. You received a new critter, the Zap Fly. So the Zap Fly is basically like a kind of a generic weapon. It's unlimited, so you can use Zap Flies as much as you want. So normally I'll put like my special on my right click and my Zap Flies on my left click. The Zap Flies charge up, and when they're fully charged, they can do a ton of damage. But otherwise, you can just do this and fire them off real quick. And they're unlimited, so you don't really have to be that sparing, but they're also really weak. So we'll see here in a minute. I'll use them a little bit. Zap Flies can also activate things like this and open up doors and lower bridges and stuff like that. You'll find critters throughout Stranger's World. Hunting them is how you'll get ammo from here on. So we actually have to hunt all of our ammo, which means that like these chipmunks right here, we actually have to shoot them, and then while they're unconscious, we go and pick them up so we can use those as ammo later. So every weapon or every animal that we can use as ammunition, we actually have to hunt in the world. So you can't just pick them up randomly or whatever. You actually have to find them and pick them up as you're playing. Alright, so we charge up our Zap Fly and then get across this bridge. Dead enemies will rot away, so bounty them quickly. So if we don't pick them up fast enough, they'll just disappear, basically. Grab him. There's a guy up there that's shooting at us, but I think we can pick up this outlaw before we deal with him. Oh, we're getting hit a lot, but that's okay. We got plenty of stamina, so we can go back here and shake off. And then we'll go get him. We'll just do that. Oh, that just kind of screwed me. Let's do this instead. Get over here. No! I wasted so many of those bola mines. So many. There we go. Knocked him out.
going. Town is ahead somewhere.
Before we take off and head toward town, we'll grab this money that the outlaw dropped up here. I thought there might be some more money hidden, but it looks like that's about it. All right, let's take off. So if we run in a straight line for a while, eventually, Stranger will... Let's see. He may not do it yet. Later, Stranger will get down on all fours and he'll run on four legs, and he's much faster that way.
Oh, hey, Stranger. Before we let you into town, we gotta take your weapons.
Gots to take blisters to jail.
And here's another cool cinematic. We're throwing Blister's booty in the jail cell and returning him for the bounty since we got him alive. And that's the end of the very first chapter of Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. Out here we get a look at the town where we're hanging out. And this kind of acts like a central hub. All of the stores where you can stock up on ammo and different items that like make your pouches bigger so you can carry more ammunition in maximum. And of course the jail where you can turn in the outlaws that you've captured, and the bounty store where you can pick up new contracts to go after new outlaws. All of that happens in these central hubs, and it makes for a world that feels really alive. And to end it off, I want to show you this. If I attack these guys just a tad, I get a ton of money, but the whole town hates me. And eventually, they're going to start freaking out. And all these chicken people start calling me a turd, and then they run in their houses and cower in fear. And if you go up to the doors and stuff, come on. If you go up to the doors, sometimes they'll say like, "Get lost, stranger," or whatever. There you go. So anyway, that's why I love Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I think it should be one of your favorites too. If you get a chance to play this, definitely do it. It's on Steam, really cheap, all the time. I mean, you can get this game for less than $3 when it goes on sale, and it's totally worth it. It's a long, maybe, I'm going to say 8 to 10 hour adventure first-person shooter game, and it's so much fun to play that I would recommend this to anyone even slightly interested. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys.
We're such cowards because we could do something about them damn outlaws.